Hi, welcome back to Grains and Small Places, and today I'm going to just show you a quick, simple way that you can make just a basic roux with fresh milled flour, and you can use that roux to make different sauces and gravies and things like that. So I thought this might be the perfect timing to show you how we do this. Just really quick, simple process. It's not scary or intimidating at all, but it makes the best gravy. So we're going to make it with, you can make it with turkey drippings. You can actually use the same thing for beef, chicken, any of the gravies that you want, just depending on the different broths that you choose or pan drippings that you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how we do it. So let's get started. Okay, so making gravy actually is pretty simple. You can choose to use any kind of broth. So for today, we're going to be doing like a turkey gravy for Thanksgiving, but really you can use this method with chicken broth, beef broth, any drippings or anything like that. So I'm going to show you how to do it really simple without the drippings, and then tell you how you can also make it with the drippings. So we're going to start out on medium-high heat with like a pan here, and then we're going to get our butter. So if you have pan drippings, you can sub this butter in for just the fat off the pan drippings, but honestly, even with the pan drippings, I really prefer to use the butter. It just adds a richness and tastes amazing. So I'm going to start heating this on medium high, and then we will add in our flour. We like to keep a jar of like already milled flour in our refrigerator of like leftover flour in case we just need to sprinkle some into a recipe that's slightly too wet, or if we want to roll out biscuits, or if we want to do pasta or whatever. Sometimes this jar will have just a mix of leftover flours or anything like that in that. Sometimes they'll have soft white, hard white, kamut, whatever. But this is all soft white wheat. I went ahead and put a label on this so I know. I do recommend like a soft white wheat or even maybe a spelt for the gravy. But in a pinch, you can use any fresh milled flour. And if you're using like a hard wheat or a kamut, you may need less flour by just a little bit, because this is really just a small amount of flour. So I like to keep that labeled. Haley does sell these cute little labels in her Etsy shop. I will link that down in the description box below, along with a coupon code to her shop. She has all kinds of cool fresh milled flour gadget things that you can use to help with your baking. So we're going to go ahead and heat up this butter. Once the butter starts to melt, I went ahead and broke this up into little bits, but once the butter starts to melt, then we can put that flour in and make our roux. I will make sure to link this recipe down in the description box below, where you can see this recipe and a whole bunch of other recipes all dedicated to fresh milled flour. I'm going to turn this around here. I broke this up into little pieces, but it's wanting to stay together anyways. It doesn't have to be completely melted, but I like it mostly melted before I pop my flour in there. Just use that to break it apart here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put in the flour. This is the soft white wheat, and I like to do about the same amount. With soft white wheat, sometimes I will use a little bit more, just a tiny bit more than the butter. But we're just going to mix this around until the flour cooks a little bit. It doesn't have like a raw flour smell. It starts to smell a little bit nutty, and then you're good to go. And people ask oftentimes, do I use salted butter or unsalted butter? Really, you can use whichever one you prefer. If your drippings are seasoned really salty, then you may want to use an unsalted butter, but really you're going to add salt and pepper to your taste once the product is at the finished stage. So this part here where we're cooking it down generally only takes 1 to 2 minutes. This is a little different than with my Tangzong method, where I'm cooking it down to a paste. This one will not form like a full paste, but it does thicken the gravy nicely. Okay, so once this has like a nutty aroma, it's been about 1 to 2 minutes. We've been stirring it the whole time so nothing like burns to the bottom of our pot. Then we can add in our broth. And you want to do this kind of slowly. So I'm just going to pour this in while I'm whisking. So this is 4 cups of, this is actually chicken broth, but you can use turkey broth or chicken broth. You can also use your drippings here. So if you have 4 cups of drippings, which is a lot of drippings, but if you have 4 cups of drippings, you could use all the drippings in this. If you only have, say, 1 cup of drippings, you can use a cup of drippings, and you could use a cup or 3 cups of broth. So really just mix and match. You want 4 cups of that liquid. We're going to keep our temperature up here because we're going to cook this down. If you are making this with drippings instead of broth, we like to run our drippings through a little bit of a strainer, so it takes out any of those big clumps or big pieces of things you might not want in there. So this is just like a metal little strainer. We'll pour it right through there, and that's very helpful to get that out there, and it helps it to be nice and smooth. But again, this could be used with really any flavor. If you're making a roast beef and you have beef drippings, you could make this with beef broth and do a beef gravy or brown gravy. If you want this to be a chicken gravy, which is kind of what this one's going to end up being, but we use chicken gravy and turkey gravy sometimes interchangeably around here because chicken broth is always on hand here and a little bit easier to find. So we kind of will use either or. I've used chicken broth in a pinch in a beef dish. I've used beef broth before. So any broth is better than, I guess, no broth. So we're just going to keep stirring this until it comes to temperature. This broth was room temperature. It was not hot. So if you're using your pan drippings, this part may happen faster for you because your drippings were already hot. But my broth was room temperature. So we're going to just cook it until it heats up. We'll just keep doing this until it comes to a boil. If you like your gravy really, really thick, you could always increase the amount of butter and flour, or you can just keep cooking this down as the steam continues to evaporate off. It will thicken the gravy even more. But this is a really nice consistency I found with this ratio. If you're using your drippings and you have it seasoned with your salt, your pepper, garlic, thyme, rosemary, all of those things, whatever flavoring you want in your gravy, generally that drippings has enough to season this gravy and taste amazing. If you're using just broth, you can of course adjust this to your taste. You could add any kind of seasonings in here. You can add rosemary and thyme. You can just keep it basic with just salt and pepper. Our favorite thing, if I'm only using broth, is we'll use a garlic powder, an onion powder, a teaspoon of each or so. And then we'll use pepper, of course. And then salt. I really love to use this kind of salt here. This is a mineral sea salt, one of my favorite salts because it's a healthier mineral salt that is less processed, so it's a little bit of a moist salt. But I do have a coupon code where if you want to give this salt a try, Baja Gold, where you can save on your order from them. But I always tell everybody about this salt because it was pretty life-changing for us. So this is the salt I would definitely recommend. We use it for all of our baking and cooking. So it's this Baja Gold mineral sea salt. I like to cook this to a boil and then give it a taste test, and then we can decide. This was low sodium chicken broth, so we may need to add more salt than if it was a normal sodium chicken broth. But I can see it's starting to steam, so we're getting there. As this heats up, I can feel it start to thicken a little bit. So you do want to make sure that you continue to whisk to keep anything that settles on the bottom from burning. Just keep that moving through the gravy. That prevents any lumps or scalding or burning at the bottom of the pan. Okay, now we're starting to see some bubbling going on here. So we're starting to get that boil in. So right now is when we can decide how thick we want the gravy to get. Because the longer we boil this, the thicker it will get. So you can see it kind of coats the spoon but yet it still rolls off the spoon. I'm going to turn it down so we don't have it boil over here. And then now this is when I'm going to give it a little bit of a taste test to see if it needs anything. Let it cool down so it's not too hot. Okay, we definitely need salt. This was the low sodium broth. So I'm going to do a teaspoon of salt. Do a teaspoon or a little less than a teaspoon of pepper, like maybe a half a teaspoon. It really depends on your taste if you prefer a lot of pepper or not. And then a teaspoon of onion powder. And a teaspoon of garlic powder. And again, if you're using seasoned drippings, this amount of seasoning may differ for you because a lot of that flavor comes from those drippings. So I just want to make sure I break that all up and get it incorporated, then we'll give it another taste. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more salt to that. Plenty of pepper, plenty of garlic and onion. Maybe a half a teaspoon, slightly more than a half a teaspoon. If you don't like it really peppery, I definitely would recommend to do the half a teaspoon of pepper rather than the full, just because it is very peppery, but I have some family members that actually prefer a lot of pepper in their gravy. Okay, let me give this in one more test. Oh, perfect. That is perfectly done for us. Again, if you want it to be much thicker, you can boil this down. If you accidentally put too much seasoning in, you can always add a little bit more broth, or if it's really salty, you can add a little bit of more water. Also, if you want to take this up a level and make it like a more rich, you can add just a splash of some heavy cream into this after you pull it off, or you can put another little pat of butter in this. But either way, that's how you make a simple gravy with very little ingredients on hand, and it'll be perfect for your Thanksgiving table. I will make sure to put a link down in that description box below to this recipe, and then you can alter it with the ways that you like it for your family. So I hope this video was helpful to you. This is one of our favorite ways to have gravy. If you guys have a favorite way that you like to use up roux for cheese sauces, gravies, or any kind of sauce, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite way is, because I always love hearing what you guys had to say and all those new recipe ideas. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and thanks for stopping by Grains in Small Places. Goodbye.